Man, some of these questions now, like after like a big show secret. I mean, we've already done the podcast. We're just asking these like rapid fire. I don't know if I use that part, but I'm going to tell you some of these, like I already know the answer kind of too. And I'm like, but I'm curious to see what you have to say.
Gotcha.
Six packs. We're calling this a six pack of questions. Marcell, are you ready? I'm trying to make it sound all official, but it's not. Which long lost childhood object would you most like to find? All right, stump you or what?
Yeah.
You don't have anything from your childhood that you miss?
I mean, honestly, it's my brother.
Oh yeah,
that's the first thing that comes to my head.
I bet losing your brother puts material things into a really different perspective.
I didn't even talk about that at all on the podcast.
It's good. I mean, you know, but we're talking about it now. I mean, you know,
yeah, like grief in that, like losing him, that was something else, and I think that's a healing journey that I'm still on. On my
will be for a while addiction. Probably
because I just lost him. It was in December, just past December, in a tragic car accident, and like. Yeah, like that's a part of my journey and part of my healing journey. And people, I guess we don't realize how hard it is to get over something like that, because you never really get over it. You don't get over it, but how to continue the day to day, the guilt and stuff, to feel and get over and getting over that. Like, and it's this process that I'm still working on. But to answer that question, like I was hoping for something else and I was trying to find something else, but I have to be honest with my answer.
Sure.
And sometimes being vulnerable is being
good.
Uncomfortable is comfortable. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable, being something like that.
Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot what I was going to ask you. Oh, I remember what I was going to ask. Do you think God got you sober to be able to handle your brother's death?
That is exactly how I put it.
Nice. You don't have to say anything else. All right. Would you rather be... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Even more so, he gave us the blessing that my partner has in her belly, because she was told that she was not supposed to be able to have kids without actually trying to, because I think it all comes full circle.
Well, you know,
yeah.
When you start believing and you start focusing and stuff, it's weird how all these things start to fall in line. I mean, I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm just saying it seems to be working, right?
No.
So I don't know. Okay. Would you rather be a great musician, artist, or athlete?
Well, I consider Kanye West a musician and an artist because
fair.
He is exactly that. So I am going to go with a musician because you can accomplish both.
Is Kanye West kind of that would be your model as far as music? That we don't have to talk about any other if anything else he does, but like as a genius, as a music genius, would that be what you shoot for?
The one thing about Kanye West, you can say a lot of things about him, but the dude is a musical genius. Like, I'm excited to listen to Travis Scott's new album because I got a feeling Kanye West has his hand over that.
I mean, you can't argue it.
Yeah,
he's a genius.
It's done. Yeah.
No. Okay. I'm sure I know you have an answer for this, but like I want you to dig deep on this one.
Oh yeah, that's not hard.
What is the most memorable meal you've ever had?
So is it because the meal is memorable because of what you had, or is it memorable because of who you were with?
I would say do both, but let's just go with who you're with, because I don't want to hear another boring story about food. I'd rather hear about how memorable it was because of where you were.
I can't think of the answer to that question.
All right, well, just tell me, what's your most? Wait, here, I'll rephrase it. What's your most memorable hamburger so far, just in life, just in general?
Why am I having like a blank right now? I'm still thinking about because I'm mad I can't think of the most memorable meal. That's what's throwing me for a loop. Honestly, and I hate to say it because this may be a cliche answer, but meals with my grandmother.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah.
Because honestly, like it was the morning breakfast, like meals growing up, or just like, because she's not in the best health right now. And like that's how I got a love for tennis and sports in general. Like, I love sports because of my grandmother. And so I would always get up at the crack of dawn and be one of the first ones up, and she'd be watching Wimbledon at the fucking wee hours of the morning, watching Roger Federer and like yelling at the TV. And I'm like, this is great. And that was like our real bonding time. And I was the only one that really did that with her. So like that was always the most memorable.
You always sit and eat together, like while
yeah,
watching.
like we would sit there and like she would always make me breakfast and like have me like, or I'd have Frosted Flakes and I'd get an extra bowl and stuff like that. And
Spoiled.
yeah, and I'm not supposed to be up at 4:00 in the morning. Like, yeah, but
All right.
I wish I had a better answer.
That's a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
I mean that's a it's a better answer than you telling me, well, you know, I had this salad in California at this vegan place. You know what I mean? Okay. I think I know the answer to this, but let's see if we can find number 2. I think I know what number 1 is. Which temptation do you try the hardest to resist? Is it alcohol, or is it something new because you feel like you have put alcohol in the past?
Every day is alcohol.
Okay, so what's number 2? What's the thing that you really have to try? You're trying to stay away from? Chocolate.
I would say sugar has been a big one, but honestly, it's impulse buys. Yeah, because like with the baby on the way, like
can't be doing that.
Yeah, it was funny. It was George Lopez tickets that I was wanting. But she had just told me she was pregnant, and George Lopez was here at ACL. Tickets weren't even that expensive, $100 a piece, but it was an impulse buy. And I was like, babe, and I told her, I was like, we're not going to see George Lopez right now because you're pregnant. And she's like, are you fucking serious? That didn't go over well, but we didn't go to see George Lopez. But yeah.
What's the most fun you ever had at a party that you can tell me about?
Honestly, when I went to South by, this past South by, I went to the Doritos party, and Anderson Paak was the DJ, and I was sober. It was my first time being at an event by myself with free booze. They had Doritos flavored cocktails. I mean, it was booze everywhere. And like, I had a fucking hell of a time. And like, that's so much fun. Like,
that's a cool feeling, isn't it?
Dude, it was so good. And like, I danced my ass off, and like, I didn't know anybody there. And like, it was great. And that was probably the most fun I've had in a party. And that reminded me that I could still boogie and shit like that.
Well, and you were present.
Yeah.
So you get to really enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This is apparently a 2-parter.
Okay.
At what age do most people become old, and what is the secret to staying young?
Man, that's fucking. You ask people nowadays, they call me old because I'm 30. But
let me tell you something. There's a lot of people old at 30. Does that make sense?
That's
like
true.
So there's a lot of people riding an old 30, 35. So that was, you know, if you were asking me like, what is old? I see a lot of people that are old at a really young age, which is sad because they're not taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would say if you had stayed on the track that you were on at this moment right now, you would look old.
Ooh, shit.
You know what I mean? But like, you look young. You look younger than when I met you.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're asking me.
So what's the secret to staying young? What do you think the secret to staying young is? Besides me having to be black.
Taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Don't put poison directly in your body as far as like booze.
I don't have to say that. Just do check-ins.
Yeah.
Mental check-ins, physical check-ins. Like, check in with yourself. Just check-ins.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Check in with your friends. Because like.
I think the big thing is like, you tell me this, like, you know, when you start checking in with yourself every day, you kind of get bored in the sense of like, well, here's this guy again. You know what I mean? He's doing well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you feel confident. So then you go, well, what else could I do? I could check in on my friends because I'm solid.
Yeah.
So if they're having a harder time or something like that, like especially if you're an empathic, you don't absorb that. You don't, you know, you're solid at their base and you're solid for them, because if you're taking on their emotions, you're not helping them very much.
No.
You know what I mean? If you're a solid place that they can land, that's when you're helping your friends.
That's, I think, the biggest thing. Like, we have a group chat with all my solid homies, and I'll say in the group chat randomly, I'm like, hey, like, look, everybody have a blessed day. I hope everybody's doing good. Like, y'all make a lot of money this weekend. If y'all need anything, holler at your boy. Like, I offer to drive them home all the time because since I'm sober, I'm like, hey, and I'm on the ride home because I'm like, hey, dog, like, how you doing? Just check in. Like, I'll call him. Hey, man, how you doing? Like, you good? Oh, yeah, I don't want anything.
You know, it'd be rad.
Yeah.
It's like a sober driving service, but they only picked you up in like badass sports cars. You're like, my ride's here in a Lamborghini. Like, shows
That
up.
would
you
be
know,
dope.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
That would be badass.
So, sober. Fast and sober.
We can fight. We can.
Fast and Furious.
I wonder if we can get somebody to fund that.
Hey, my man. Hey,
I have a license now. That's the crazy part. I'll be able to drive one of the cars.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, for the longest time, I didn't have a license.
Thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.